Hello designers, makers, and friends. In this video I wanted to talk about some of the plugins I like to use in Sketch. So let's just jump right in. I have a list of 10 plugins here that I use almost on the reg in Sketch. And we know that Sketch is a great interface design tool, but sometimes you're running into certain workflows that don't work without really these souped up superpower plugins. So the first one on my list is Runner Pro. Sketch Runner is definitely the very first plugin I would recommend anyone install. It's sort of like a package manager for your plugins, and once you download it, they have a free trial, and I think they have a free tier as well. You can open it using Command tilde, which is the single bracket, and then using tab you can tab through these 6 various modes, and the first mode is to run a plugin or a menu action. The second one is to go or navigate to a specific page, artboard, or symbol master. The third is to insert a specific symbol, which trust me, this is a lifesaver. Instead of going into insert and maybe the symbol library and then navigating into all the way down, crawling through these menus, you can simply type insert, and I want this button app bar, and voila, you've got it. So you do need to know the name of your symbol in order to use the insert, but once you get the hang of it, you'll never go back. You can create a symbol. You can apply shared styles to selected layers. I haven't actually used this very much, but I think what it is if I have a text style that I want to copy over to other text styles, you can select and then apply to the rest of the elements in your Sketch document. And the last one is install. So using Sketch Runner, you can find and install the rest of these plugins. So notes let you quickly take notes in Sketch. It's kind of cool. The hotkey for it for me is Command L, and what it does is it just pops a sticky note on my page, right? And you can have as many or as few of these as you want. And the beauty is they're all called post-it, and so I can search for it in my elements panel here and delete them all at once. So that's notes. The second one is Artboard Tools. You probably have seen me use this already a few times, but arrange artboards is a lifesaver. So let's say I have all these artboards in various, just like in disarray, maybe like that. Maybe let's just create a few more just to make it a little more chaotic. And let's say I want to just put these artboards all in one row. How do I do that? Well, Command Control 1, voila, arranges all my artboards. And so that is found here. So you can do that. You can pull off the same command by going into plugins in here, or if you memorize the hotkey, which is Command Control 1, makes your hand look like a claw a little bit. That's how you do that. Alternatively, let's say you need to reverse these artboards. Let's say this is artboard. How many are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say this is artboard 5. This is 4. This is 3, 2, and 1. And we actually need to reverse these in the order. So what we can do is go to Artboard Tools, select Reverse Artboard Order, and I don't know if you guys caught that, but it basically puts the 5th at the very bottom, the 1st at the very top. And then, obviously my canvas doesn't reflect that, but if I want it to, I can do Command Control 1, and boom, it'll automatically arrange. So that's something I find myself doing again and again and again. And I often combine Artboard Tools with Rename It. So Rename It is a plugin that lets me rename artboards or layers en masse. And it's pretty cool. They have some of these keywords sort of tricks. So if I wanted to call this step 1, I could do step ascending, numeric sequence ascending, and rename, and then that's what it'll do for me. It'll throw in all those numbers for me, and that's really powerful. And again, you know, if I change my mind, or if I want actually step 2 to be step 1, or if I want step 1 to be, you know, in step 4, and then I can rename these. Rename it, rename artboards, step 1 through 5, voila. And then because these are already rearranged here, I can just do Command Control 1 and it'll rearrange everything for me. So that's something I find myself doing a lot, is organizing my artboards. Getting organized is key to success in Sketch, for me at least. Okay, so that was Artboard Tools. Automate. So Automate, gosh, I haven't even begun to plunge the depth of this plugin. There's just so many good things in here. The first one I want to show you is, let's say you have a bunch of rectangles, and maybe these aren't rectangles, maybe these are images that you grabbed or screenshots that you grabbed, and you want to make an artboard from each individual for each individual rectangle, right? So the manual way about going that is to click each rectangle and hit New from Selection here. But let's say I don't have the time for that, so I'm going to highlight these last 3, go to Plugins, Automate, and then Artboard from Selection. So under Artboard, there's this command Artboard from Selection, or alternatively in Sketch Runner, I can run Artboard from Selection. And boom, I don't know if you guys saw that, but what it did is it took each of these individual rectangles and turned them into an artboard. And if I want to rearrange all these, Command Control 1, which is from Artboard Tools, now I've arranged all my artboards in a neat row. So I actually don't need these. I know I created them, but I don't actually need them. So that's one aspect of Automate that I really love. The second aspect that I really love is the ability to paste in text from an external TXT file, right? So let's say I have a piece of text, or actually let's say this is text inside a cell. And what I mean by cell is, like, let's say this is text inside of a cell of a table, right? And I'm trying to actually create a table inside of Sketch. So I'm going to make, 4 or 5 of these. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I'm actually going to make 8. Okay, and we're going to tidy these up using tidy. And I'm going to turn this, actually I need to turn this into a symbol. Text inside a cell, yeah, that's what we'll call it for now. It's a terrible symbol name, but bear with me. And I need 8, so actually I'm going to use grid to make 8. And let's give them some space in between here. Awesome. So typically, in order to rename text inside of a cell, I would need to use this. I would need to turn it into a symbol, go in here, and then update the text, right? But what if what if this is like a column of cells for a table? It would be painful to just go through each of these and have to type in advance. So what I'm going to do instead is, in my text editor, Sublime Text, I have a list of 8 words, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8. I'm going to paste in these 8 words for these 8 symbols, right? And how do I do that? Using Automate Sketch. So if you see, there's this tiny layers icon that lets me bring up Automate Sketch, and then I'm going to pull in text from file, and then I got to find that file. So let's see, where is one? Oh, I know, I didn't save it, so I need to save this. Okay, let's save this as a txt file. Awesome. Alright, so what I'm going to do is highlight all of these symbols and then use automate sketch, text from file, and then I'm going to go into my file directory and then one from text and open this, and boom, you'll see that it's extracted the 1 through 8 words in my txt file and pasted them into my symbols. But we have a little problem here. It kind of pasted it in the opposite direction, so instead of 1 being at the top, 8 is at the top. So the way around that is to go to arrange, or excuse me, automate, layer, and arrange, and we need to reverse layer order here. So I'm gonna hit that, and it doesn't look like anything changed, but on the left hand side we have reversed the layers, and then I'm gonna do that paste job again. So text from file, same story, open the text file, and then paste again, and then now it's, you know, arranged as I originally intended it to. So that's 1 through 8. So let's see, we've covered runner, notes, artboard tools, automate, collapse artboard in groups. You'll learn how to do that in my shortcuts. Find and replace. So find and replace is a pretty powerful plugin. Let's say I want to replace the word to with to. Boom. So pretty simple, straightforward. Let's say you have like a spelling error. Let's say I spelled, gosh, all my 3's with 3 E's instead of 2. I can use find and replace 3 with 3. So pretty simple but pretty powerful. The next thing is font finder. So if I need to find all the places in my sketch file where I have a specific text style, so like Avenir is the text is the type I'm using right now, and just manipulate it to something else, I can do that by using font finder, finding Avenir next, and it will automatically select those layers, and then I can just manipulate it. So boom. So if I just manipulated these two to Helvetica, but let's say I want to go back, Helvetica, find those, and let's turn them back into Avenir. So that's how you can go about doing that. That's font finder. Rename it, I think I just showed you already. That had to do with renaming either the artboards here, or you can also do layers as well. Spell check whole page, that's pretty straightforward. Looks like it's telling me that artboard is actually 2 words, but I'm going to ignore that. And then the last one is symbol organizer. Okay, so let's say let's open a big document that has a bunch of symbols. Yeah, so this is actually a great example of a symbol library that I actually already used, the symbol organizer. But essentially what it does is it takes all of your symbols, and based on the naming convention, it'll attach a label here at the top, and you can find those labels or titles if you scroll in this elements panel, and you can actually delete them, or if you unlock it, you can manipulate them as well. But that's what symbol organizer does, is it sort of arranges all your symbols into these columns so that they're easily grouped, and you can find symbols much more easily. And on top of that, if you configure your symbol organizer, you can determine how much spacing you want, and what type of title styles you want to use, as well as various other settings that I actually haven't played with a lot. So that's symbol organizer. And then the last one is Unsplash. Unsplash is a way to get images quickly. So let's say I have all these artboards and I want to add a rectangle to each of these artboards. Or let's just do the first four. And in the first four, I want to actually pull in random stock photos. So if I go to data, Unsplash, I can get random photos here. Sketch also lets me pull in faces. Automate Sketch lets me do it from images from my hard drive. But let's use Unsplash and search for puppies. Boom. I don't know if the middle guy is actually a puppy, but that's kind of how Unsplash works. It brings in data from Unsplash. I think it's the largest library of free stock imagery. So, all right. So just to recap, we went over a lot in this video, but these are the main plugins that I covered. So Runner Pro you want to use for package managing your plugin. Notes, if you want to like sticky note on your canvas. Artboard Tools have really powerful arranging and organizing capabilities. Finding and replacing, pretty straightforward. Font Finder, pretty straightforward. Rename it, allows you to rename layers as well as artboards. Spell checking, pretty straightforward. Symbol Organizer lets you arrange your symbols in a neat fashion, and then Unsplash lets you pull in data. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any thoughts, leave me a comment or let me know. Thanks.